Welcome to the deep dive. We're jumping straight into a challenge that's hitting, well, pretty much every organization hard right now. I mean, the sheer complexity of managing, countless applications, systems, all that data flowing between them.
Yeah.
It's actually gotten so tangled. A recent 2024 report mentioned something pretty striking.
Oh, what was that?
For the first time in years, companies actually reduced the number of SaaS apps they use.
Really? Cut back. That is interesting.
Yeah, think about that. It sort of underlines the pain point, right? Trying to get all these tools to actually talk to each other effectively.
It absolutely does. We've kind of reached this tipping point where the very tools meant to help us are creating this whole new layer of complexity, specifically around integration. The old ways, writing endless custom code, dealing with complex middleware. It's just too slow for how fast businesses need to move today.
Exactly. And that's precisely why we're diving deep into something that's really picking up steam. Low-code integration, especially when it gets that AI boost in what they call an integration platform as a service.
Right, iPaaS.
It promises a much simpler way for companies to design, manage, even tweak their integrations, but with way less traditional coding. So our mission today is really to unpack how this low-code approach is, well, changing connectivity, unlocking smarter integration, making that whole digital transformation thing feel a bit more achievable.
Precisely. We want to dig into how it tackles those common headaches.
Yeah.
Legacy systems that don't play nice, that huge pile of custom scripts nobody wants to touch anymore.
Yeah, the maintenance nightmare.
Exactly. And the development cycles that seem to take forever, the rising costs, and that constant need to just be more agile, react faster.
Okay, so we've kind of zeroed in on 4 key ways. Low-code integration is simplifying things. That's what we'll explore. Let's kick things off with the first one, how it changes how we actually see integration.
Right. So forget staring at lines and lines of code. Low-code iPaaS solutions bring this intuitive drag-and-drop interface to the whole process. It's a totally different experience compared to needing deep IT skills and writing complex scripts.
A visual approach.
Exactly. And what's really cool is that by hiding the code complexity, you're bringing the actual business logic forward. So the people who understand the business process can actually get involved directly.
Okay, let's paint a picture. So instead of a developer buried in code for days, maybe we have a business user, let's call her Emma, like in our source material, a business analyst. She needs to get customer order info from the online shop into the main ERP system. How does she actually do that visually?
Well, the process described is pretty straightforward. First, Emma might upload some sample order data, or maybe the platform is smart enough to figure out the data structure, the schema, in both systems automatically.
Okay, the schema, like the data blueprint.
Exactly. So everyone knows what customer name means. Then she uses that drag-and-drop interface, literally clicks and drags to connect the fields. Customer name here connects to customer full name there. Order date lines up with order date, product SECU matches product ID, that sort of thing.
Got it. So visually mapping the data flow. But what if the data isn't a perfect one-to-one match? Like maybe the date format is different.
Good question. That's where transformations come in. Emma can apply these right there in the visual interface. Think of it like built-in tools. She can tell it to reformat dates, maybe do simple math like summing up order items, or set up rules to, say, validate an address format before it moves across.
All visually configured.
All visually configured. And she sees the effect right away, which is key.
Okay, and before this goes live, moving actual customer data, there has to be a way to check it works, right? A test run.
Oh, absolutely. Testing is built in. Emma can grab some of that sample data, hit run test, and see immediately if the integration does what she expects. That instant feedback loop is, well, it's huge. It dramatically cuts down setup time and makes it easy to adapt if requirements change later on.
So this visual, user-friendly approach sounds like it really speeds things up and puts power in the hands of people who actually know the data. Which leads nicely into our second point. How low-code integration empowers both IT and business users, not just one or the other.
Yes, this is where it gets really interesting, I think, because low-code iPaaS acts like a bridge. It connects those citizen integrators.
The business users, like Emma.
Exactly. The ones who live and breathe the data and the processes with the IT professionals who bring the technical know-how and, crucially, the governance oversight.
So someone like Emma who really understands order processing, she can actually build and tweak basic integrations herself. Using those pre-built blocks and the drag and drop thing, no serious coding needed.
That's the idea. She can connect the apps she uses daily, automate some routine stuff, streamline her own work. It puts the power closer to the actual business problem. But, and this is important, IT isn't just watching from the sidelines.
Right, because you still need control. You need to handle the tricky stuff. What about the risk of, people building integrations without proper checks?
That's a critical point. And these low-code platforms usually address it. They often include code editors, so the IT team like Michael, the IT architect figure in our sources, can jump in. Michael can review Emma's mappings, maybe refine them, make sure they meet security standards. He can also write custom scripts if a transformation is really complex, or use APIs to connect to other, maybe more obscure systems.
APIs, the way different software talks to each other.
Exactly, programmatically.
So it's more collaborative. Emma gets the basic flow going. Michael and his team ensure it's robust, secure, scalable.
Precisely. It speeds up automation because the business side can handle a lot, freeing up IT for the bigger picture, the more complex challenges, while still maintaining that vital control and governance. It's like democratizing integration, but safely.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, point number 3. Reusability and adaptability. This sounds key for, long-term efficiency, especially when things change so fast.
Absolutely vital. Just think. How many times does customer information need to be synced across different parts of a company? Marketing, sales, support.
Right, yeah, probably lots.
Traditionally, you might build those connections separately each time, which is slow, and you can easily end up with inconsistencies in how that data is handled. Some companies are even building these sort of integration hubs with reusable parts.
Like an internal app store for data flows.
Kind of. So instead of constantly reinventing the wheel,
You reuse what's already built.
exactly. Low-code platforms really lean into this. They let you save and reuse integration mappings. So if you build a great mapping for handling customer contacts, you can often just take that same mapping, maybe tweak it slightly, and apply it when you need to connect customer data to your sales system, then your support system, and so on.
So you create a standard way to handle, say, customer addresses and reuse that logic everywhere.
That's the core idea. Saves a ton of time, obviously, but also enforces consistency. Everyone's working with the same data definitions. And the best part is, these reusable mappings aren't static. As the business evolves, you can refine them, extend them. It gives you that scalability without starting from scratch every single time.
So it's not just about speed initially, but building something sustainable, adaptable.
Yeah.
Huge plus. Okay, our final point. Real-time testing and validation. Sounds like something that could prevent a lot of headaches later.
Oh, you are absolutely right. Being able to test integrations as you build them is a massive advantage of these modern low-code IPS tools. Imagine spending weeks building something complex, deploying it, and then finding out it doesn't work right.
Yeah, that sounds stressful.
No.
Especially with live customer data.
Exactly. But with low-code, users like Emma can grab sample data, run tests right there in the platform, and see the results instantly. If something's wrong, the system usually flags it, often pinpointing the exact spot in the mapping or the transformation where the issue lies.
Wow, so instant feedback while you're actually building it.
Precisely. You can quickly tweak the mapping, adjust a transformation rule, fix a data format, whatever it is, and rerun the test. Keep iterating until it's perfect. This drastically cuts the risk of deployment failures because you've already seen how it behaves with, well, realistic data scenarios.
And I assume this testing isn't just for the citizen integrators like Emma. IT can use it too for deeper checks.
Absolutely. While Emma might test the basic data flow, Michael and the IT team can do more rigorous validation, maybe step-by-step flow testing to check performance under load, things like that. And some platforms, as our sources mention, even use AI now to help generate better test data or automatically review parts of the configuration. It adds another layer of confidence.
Right.
All this testing significantly shrinks the time it takes to get a new integration safely into production.
Okay, so let's quickly recap the big advantages we've covered for low-code IPS simplifying connectivity. We've got the visual drag-and-drop design making it easier, empowering both business users and IT, leading to better collaboration.
Right.
The reusability and adaptability for long-term efficiency.
Crucial.
And finally, that real-time testing and validation to cut errors and speed up deployment. That's a pretty powerful case for organizations drowning in system complexity.
It really is. Based on what we're seeing, the outcomes are tangible. Much faster deployment times. We're talking potentially months down to days for some integrations. Definitely more flexibility because more people can contribute effectively. lower costs as you reduce that reliance on heavy custom coding, and ultimately just more agility, being able to adapt connections faster when the business needs change.
So the big takeaway seems to be that low-code integration isn't just, a niche tool. It feels more like a strategic shift,
I'd agree.
a move towards real business workflow automation, better enterprise efficiency, and it seems relevant for companies of pretty much any size.
Exactly. Finding the right low-code platform could be key to unlocking a lot of potential. It empowers the business experts to connect their own dots, so to speak.
While keeping IT in control.
While keeping IT in control, ensuring security and scalability, it really can drive innovation without all the traditional coding bottlenecks.
Which brings us to our final thought for you, our listeners. Considering how quickly your own organization's needs are probably evolving, how might embracing a platform that empowers both your technical and your non-technical colleagues to connect your systems? How might that unlock some unforeseen opportunities for growth and efficiency? Definitely something to mull over as you navigate today's interconnected business world. Thanks for exploring this deep dive with us.